Carol, and it's time for my first guest of the afternoon. And this is a subject that we talk about on this show because it affects half of the population. I think it's time to start speaking about this quite openly. The menopause. It's something that the majority of women will experience in their lives, and yet there seems to be a lack of understanding and support in the workplace when it comes to this. It's something that one employee from the co-op was determined to change. Carrie-Anne Lackey began by creating coffee mornings where women could talk openly about how they're feeling, and she then came together with her boss to begin building what's now company-wide guidance on menopause. Brilliant stuff. The pair then decided to make their advice free and open to any company around the world as a starting point to help women's experience of menopause at work improve. And I'm delighted to say that Carrie-Anne joins me now. Carrie-Anne, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Reem. We're happy to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. Tell us about how all of this came about, because this is brilliant stuff. You've taken something that actually people don't talk about, historically haven't talked about the menopause in any way that is positive, and you've turned it into this real juggernaut to help women.
Absolutely. I think I started suffering, getting knockbacks from specialists, trying to get the guidance myself. And, you know, I became detached. I didn't know who I was. I started becoming allergic to things. I didn't sleep, and then I'd be really miserable. My emotions were a roller coaster. And I thought, you know, if I'm going through this, then I'm sure other people are going through it. And if I'm struggling to get the support and nobody's really talking about it, then I need to do it. Because, you know, I joined the co-op because they had a policy when I was looking for a job. And, I started the coffee morning thinking, you know, we have a female network in the co-op called Aspire. And I joined them and I said, look, you know, it'd be great to set up a coffee morning. You know, we can start small, but at least we're just talking openly about our backgrounds, what's happened, where we're up to, etc. And well, then, I mean, what we realised and canvassed really from those coffee mornings, Rima, was that women were struggling. They were really struggling. And to be honest, a lot of them didn't think they were perimenopausal. Most women kind of were anxious, was one of the main symptoms, and they got antidepressants from the doctor when really of that age, it was actually the onset or perimenopause itself. So, you know, I was thinking if women are struggling to talk about it, how do we get everybody talking about it? Women didn't feel that taboo, if you see what I mean, didn't feel that fear of raising it. So that's how the manager's guide got spawned. You know, let's have an open conversation. It is just the menopause.
Yeah. And it's a bit of I always think that one of the reasons why we don't talk about the menopause is because from a really young age, you know, historically, women have been told not to talk about their periods. You know, it's not polite. It's not polite to talk about. And it's like this is something that is happening to half of the population once a month. Why should we not talk about it when it's affecting us?
Yes, exactly. And I think that's such an old-fashioned view now. I know it's kind of, we should, and I've got to be honest, it's a women's thing as well, really, isn't it? We're not necessarily talking about how bad your periods have been or anything like that. So it's just time to say, you know what, I'm a woman and I own it. You know, and what I say is, you know, I mean, everybody knows that I kind of labour this in work, but if I've had a bit of brain fog or I kind of miss my words or anything like that, I'll go, oh, sorry, I've just had a menopause moment. Yeah. And everybody just laughs, and I'm kind of trying to normalise that, as in it is okay to be in this position.
Yeah. And also to be really open about the fact that, because we've also seen how, you know, women's problems, as they've been known and been called, are really put down, like they're made, that is made to make women feel stupid and feel weak. And that's something historically that has been used against us. But actually, if we own it and we say, actually, if you'd have been going through what I've been going through physically and mentally with the menopause or with my period, then you'd know that it is actually something that's quite serious.
Yes, and you would know how amazing every woman out there is in perimenopause, listening right now, postmenopausal, that's managed to get up in the morning, even kind of get to work or do what they're doing is sometimes beyond So it's a real big pat on the back because, like you say, it used to be known as the change, and you just suffer through it. We're raising it to the surface of there's 88 symptoms of menopause. And then I mentioned being allergic to things, eyes watering. I've just had a bit of a moment then when my eyes won't just stop watering. Everything was fine before I became perimenopausal. But it isn't a weakness. The fact that we can actually go to work, deliver, juggle lots of things and deal with that, it just shows you how strong we are.
Exactly. I'm so glad that you're doing this and you're having these conversations around the workplace. How does it make you feel to know that you've made these changes for people who are experiencing menopause, and that now you're at a point where you're taking it beyond where you work as well?
That is the only reason. I've no ego, and all my menopause warriors on my coffee morning know this. I get really emotional because I just don't want women suffering in silence. And a lot of women, because they do not know they are perimenopausal, they'll go, I've just suddenly become anxious, or I've suddenly just put on weight, or I've suddenly feel a bit detached and I'm not happy anymore. If I can let one woman hear this, and I have, and I've changed people's lives, that's what they've said to me. That's what's making the difference. If we can start normalising this, making a difference, and women talking about it, for me, that's good enough. Honestly, it is.
Honestly. Carrie Ann, if anyone's listening at the moment, someone who is maybe struggling with menopause and doesn't work in an environment where they can just come out and say, look, I feel horrible today. I'm here, I've gotten out of bed, I've got here, I'm doing my job just as well as anyone else, but I feel horrible. And they don't have the chance to say that. Where can they get some support and some advice?
My suggestion is Co-op have made the manager's guide that we've developed with the unions and with the policy team, etc. We've made that available to everybody. So you can go and download that, Google it, and put Manager's Guide, Menopause, download that, have a read through it, think about what is it you need. If you can't go to sleep at night and you're going to bed at 3 a.m, and yet you've got to try and get up and go to work, actually acknowledge in yourself, I could be perimenopausal. I need to then go and have that conversation. So have that guide with you, because that walks through all the different reasonable adjustments. And they're really, really not unreasonable. A bit of flexi time, a bit of maybe a little nap in the afternoon, whatever is right for the symptoms you're experiencing, and starting that open dialogue.
Wonderful stuff. Carrie Ann, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon and for being a menopause warrior. Honestly, I'm sure lots of women are listening right now thinking, yes, that's exactly what we need. Carrie Ann Lackey there, who just determined to make a change, started by creating coffee mornings where women can talk openly about how they're feeling. And now she's got this company-wide guidance on menopause, which you can go out there and find if this is something that you are struggling with. Don't struggle alone. You're here with me, Reba. We're coming up to 3 o'clock then. Before that, I've got 2 big tunes, one from the 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 2